and you never told us?
Who gonna bring harm to you in the garden? What's gonna harm you in the garden? You can't harm yourself if you just around good stuff, like you around all of this. You can't help but to not just enjoy it, you know what I'm saying? Feel like you doing something, like these plants, they need you, you know what I'm saying? Like just building that responsibility, knowing that, you know what I'm saying, they can't grow without you, and everything that you need to do for them, they need you just like you need them, man. So take that extra little leap, do something you never did before. This is something I never see myself doing ever in life, ever. That's what I did out here. I built patience for a lot of stuff. Even I can leave here and I can tolerate a lot of more stuff outside the garden just because I know where my head at. I keep my head clear, try to focus on what I'm doing right now in the present.
So prior to COVID, we ran our community cook program where we would invite the public to come in after the restaurant was closed. We'd look over the recipe and together we would prepare a meal. Like today we're making shepherd's pie. So we would cook, eat, and talk and then dialogue about the change we want to see in our community. Due to COVID though, we've kind of had to adjust our program model. So now we actually send the boxes to our families. And they include all the ingredients you need to prepare the meal. You just get to do it from home and then report back with pictures and videos how things go. Oh, yeah. Are doing great. Okay, good. You guys good? Don't need anything? How we be cooking.
Appetite for Change opened Breaking Bread Cafe in 2015. The youth that were working here at the time wanted something different. We were tired of eating at Hooks, tired of eating at Popeyes and everything. We wanted something that we could call our own, something healthier and somewhere where we can call a home for all young people here in North Minneapolis. The community loves Breaking Bread Cafe. They know that we are a Black-owned business. They come in, they support us, they try our new food. Our mission here at Appetite for Change is to use food as a tool to create health, wealth, and social change. And that's what we're doing every time someone from our community, or not from our community, come down here and have a seat and try the healthy food that we make here. So it's not just, you know, store-bought produce, but actually grown from the dirt, seed that we planted, and we're able to bring the food here and serve it to the community. I started in the youth program, trying different things, getting new experiences, new opportunities, learning how to grow my own food, knowing where food comes from, the culture behind it that was stripped away from Black people here in America. We're now growing our own food all over again, connecting to our roots. Also just through Breaking Bread Cafe, like this is our culture that we're presenting up front to the community and they love it. Sometimes we ask ourselves, you know, Are we eating these things because that's what we see, or are we eating it because that's all we have? That's not all we have.
I really discovered North Minneapolis 2005. I decided to leave corporate America and wanted something different. Around that time, I experienced some trauma in my life where I had a sibling get into a lot of trouble with the law, took someone's life. And I remember thinking about how talented and how bright my sibling was, but still a little bit misguided. And so I personally decided to try to get in the field of youth work, youth enrichment, to see if I could maybe help make a difference. And so this is how I discovered youth enrichment, and I've worked for several different organizations over those years, but what I've discovered is there are so many young people who are really on the cusp of either going in a really positive direction or a negative direction. And based on our community's capacity to meet them where they're at, guide them, redirect them, I really think it makes a difference in terms of overall outcomes, and that's something that affects our entire community.
At Appetite for Change, one of our main slogans is that we use food as a tool for health, wealth, and social change. A big example that I use a lot is like me. Going into it, you know, most people would think leaving this program that we would be like one of the top farmers in here. I mean, I am. I have my own garden in my apartment, but I use the tools that I learned within this program around food to make the change in the community that I want to see now. All the knowledge that they taught me, all the tools that they taught me, I use that to give back to the community. I was always a girl in high school, like I always used to have my nails done, I used to have my hair done. So being in the garden, at first it was a little bit challenging, but then I knew like, okay, like this is the food that I eat and like many other people in the city eat as well. And it was cool to know like that I was like a big part of the food source in North Minneapolis. And that was really like our bonding time with the whole team as well. Like we could really sit down and just like talk and like be like freestyling, making music, and just really like come together as like really a family. That was like kind of like our sanctuary for the youth. It's been kind of difficult adjusting back to normal life because I had like so many things planned and so many things coming up that were like canceled or postponed but never really happened because of COVID, because nobody like knew when we were ever gonna come back. As far as Appetite for Change, that it was like really unfortunate because again, like it was like our prime for like everyone in the organization. We had like pretty big performances coming up, a lot of different projects. It was like kind of a big letdown because we kind of worked all winter for everything to really happen, and it kind of distanced everyone's relationship within the program with like all the coworkers that were like family. Like we just kind of turned into strangers.
Having a healthy food choice, you know, it affects me in life, because if I come out, eat all this junk food, then we out here running and stuff, I'ma just throw that all back up. And like, I don't wanna become, you feel me, overweight, because then I'm not gonna be able to play the position I wanna play. I like being in the garden, you feel me? It's good to see where my food is coming from and everything. COVID has impacted my life because last year we couldn't even come out here and play football. Like, nobody could be in the stands, so my mom couldn't even watch me play. What really inspires me, I want to make it out, see all this stuff going, all these killings going on. I just want to get away from all this and get out the hood.
The youth are the truth. Simply put, I was a believer of that within my spirit, but to hear young people come together, we worked with youth who were gang and clique affiliated, juvenile justice involved, homeless, truant, dealing with their own health related issues, sometimes coming from food choices. And these young people said that they declared that they were the truth. They told us that if we were not going to teach them how to grow and cook their own food, then why are we looking forward to the lives and the futures that they would lead? So these young people, like if you give them a place where they can operate their power, they have power. You can't empower young people. They come with it. They have the power to survive in the environments that we put them in. So if we change the external environment and change the internal environment, which means the food, then those young people often give you a different output. And our young people were saying, we can solve our own problems. if you change our food. If we continue to go and eat McDonald's, we might continue to not make good decisions. It was in this room that a young lady said, I want to do a viral video. And they laughed at her, and Grow Food dropped, and it was cold. It was in this room that some thugs who underwear matched their tennis shoes said, the youth for the truth. If y'all ain't gonna be about the youth, y'all organization ain't nowhere. And then they opened a restaurant the same year, the Breaking Bread Cafe. So when you talk about taking what you learn in the community or on the streets and bringing it to somewhere where you can operate within your power. We can't give you power, we can't empower you. You came with inherent dignity and self-worth. We're giving you a place where you can operate it.
I've been doing community work pretty much my whole life. I started over at the Culture Wellness Center watching my mom kind of move people into our house and, try to get them to get housing and, taking them to get food stamps and stuff like that. And I've always really been passionate and seeing her passion for helping people. But when I got older, I just saw that there really wasn't nobody to talk to me and my friends like how at least not in the same sense as how my mom did it. So I was like, I'll be like that. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna be like my mom for my homies. And we started a youth program, and when I heard about the opportunity at Appetite for Change, I jumped on it because I ain't never really get too much time to work with people over in North Minneapolis. I love black people, I love being in my community. So I just was like, it's a good time to branch out from where I've been at.
When I first applied to AFC, I was just looking for a summer job, honestly. But it ended up being more so about me learning about urban sustainability in terms of the food and the justice and stuff there, which then ended up leading to me getting more interested in it and going to college for it. So first year I would definitely say was probably unexpected.
We was gardening, rapping, selling food at the farmers market. We was going to different business meetings to get rules changed around the neighborhood.
Catering, we
catering
was
events.
making petitions and stuff. We was trying to get the fast food out of our community.
Yeah, also
and get more produce.
I never really was into social change or nothing. So coming to Appetite for Change, where we was actually fighting for something that was very important, it was a whole 360 flip of my worldview. The way the system actually get at people is real subtle. It ain't really how people would try to make it seem like it's just flat, boom.
I still get listened to this song. I do not care. I caught myself playing this song in the car one day. I'm like, it just came on. Gotta let it rock.
I wasn't even gonna be a part of it at first. Then one day, we was all in the little office area where all the youth be meeting at. And then, everybody was writing, trying to come up with something to say. We ended up having a cipher just to
everybody was in that circle.
Cause we rap about vegetables. It's only so cool you can get. And everything just started coming together. If you make music, you know how at first it kind of be difficult to get started, but then when stuff start coming back together, you can really see the vision.
AFC got produced. AFC about to go cool with Grow Food.
I know for me, that was my first time actually getting in the studio, so.
I'm not gonna lie, I didn't think the song was gonna make it as far as it did. But it's just crazy to think what can come out of people honestly just having a good time and the dedication of something.
That's when we was in the garden getting lit. Understood. Going to go on food. What if they did a whole AFC in the garden? Got the big ones.
At least for me, and I'm sure a few others, it definitely affected the way that we thought about AFC and what was actually possible with things like food justice, with programs like AFC. So I would say I think that's when a lot of people started to kind of take the viewpoint. Well, I'm not saying we didn't take it seriously beforehand, but definitely saw a lot more branches and doors opening and possibilities with it. So
it's been really hard to keep youth engaged this summer. Usually you have a long line of teens at your door asking about hiring and jobs, and not as much these days. You look at youth when you do sit them down, and you kind of see where they've regressed in terms of interpersonal and social skills. They've been in the house for 1.5 years. They're not talking to people. They're not having conversations and communicating. And so that shows up in the workplace. There's not a separation of that reality. And so it has just been extremely challenging to try to keep them encouraged and to keep our program moving forward in the middle of this pandemic and kind of being centered here in North Minneapolis.
You're the king, and you never told us?
Today we're doing our farmers market happening every Friday over on West Broadway at the Capri Theater. Our YTOP team is responsible for setting up all the tents. We've set up for some of the vendors. We have about 6 or 7 local vendors that come in and participate in this with us. We set up the tents, get our tables set up, and we bring some of the produce from our gardens and get it ready for the farmers market.
Coda, how about you go ahead and start? You're one of our alum. You're here joining us. It's kind of special today.
I'm proud, like really proud, because this youth still doing this, you know? I'm back 2014, now it's 2021. New faces is a blessing.
It's the West Broadway Farmers Market. We're Northside Live each and every Friday. We want to make sure the community knows that we do accept EBT food benefits at the market. And if you spend 10, you get 10 free.
When the farmers market first started, we were actually just on this vacant lot just behind me. And we've had several different locations along the West Broadway corridor where we've had an opportunity to test out the market and see what is the best location for our market. And now in our 11th season, we're full circle. We're right back to where we started and really thinking about what's next.
They put me in positions where I've talked to people from HUD and Washington, you feel me? Talking about the gentrification in my community. Questions that we have that need answers. Yo, Princess put me in a position to get those answers. You hear North Minneapolis people be like, eh. But nah, not Miss Princess, not Miss Tasha, not Miss Michelle. They look at us and they're like, hey, this is star country right here. This is prime real estate. And they show us that we got more talents. We are greater than what we think. And that you can do whatever you want to do. It was days, you feel me, you hungry. Ain't got nothing to eat, but community cooks is going on. You can slide through, get you a meal, and get a good conversation. Not word of God, but word of the community. These are people coming together just to talk about the things that are going on, happening in your neighborhood. These aren't people from outside the neighborhood coming in. I was just telling them how, you feel me, you'll ride up on me on the block like, hey, come to work, you need a job? They don't know, like this is really in the making since 2014.
Resilience is one of Appetite for Change's core values. That's something that we want to live by, you know. If something happens here, we want to be able to bounce back. And so one of the examples is community cooks. So as I was talking, we like to bring people together in person to cook and talk. Well, when COVID came, we couldn't have in-person community cooking events anymore. So we were just sitting around thinking, what can we do to still get these families in North Minneapolis fed? And we came up with the meal box. And the meal box is just 2 meals. It comes to you, get delivered to your house every Monday. It comes with the recipe and all of the ingredients, so you don't have to go out and buy anything. And it's just for your family to have 2 meals throughout that week, since Appetite for Change aren't really supplying them like we used to. So that's one way that we, show resiliency. When something happened, we made sure we bounced back and found the alternative for what we was doing.
Last year, during the pandemic, and after the murder and unrest of George Floyd, our community suffered a lot. And we really seen a lot of people in the community suffering around food. And due to the pandemic, we had to close down many of our programs. Well, at least the ones that we had that we was bringing communities together in a social setting. So our community cooks program, which I'm sure that you all heard a lot about. But with that, we really wanted to make sure that our people ate.
The first time we officially worked with Appetite for Change, me and my partner Ralph, we worked on a song called Grow Food. We helped them put it together, and it was really cool and challenging at the same time, because we wanted to think of a way to make the important message, how to make that like cool and relatable. But it was cool to see basically the process and like all the youth like enthusiasm around it and stuff like that. So it's something I had kind of been through before, but it was fun to see it in this environment with the truly like important message to get across.
As cliche as it sounds, I believe, the kids are the future. If they're asking us for certain things they want or need, why not give it to them and set them up for success? It makes sense to me. The world changes, so we can't put our old beliefs on what they should be doing or what they shouldn't be doing, or how they should go about doing something. We just gotta let them do them.
Appetite for change is not just a job opportunity. It's like a learning opportunity.
We are telling the story of our beautiful Black queens in our community. You know, often Black women give so much to a community and to the world, and they're not always acknowledged. And so there's a song that we created in honor of the beautiful Black women in our lives. And today we have some custom printed t-shirts and roses in honor of the women that we love so much. So it's really just about uplifting and celebrating the best of female leadership in North Minneapolis and in our community.
To be a Black queen, you gotta be fierce, you gotta be strong, you gotta have clarity. Because to be a queen, you gotta lead. And you can't lead nothing if you ain't in the right state of mind.
Now, walk to the BBQ, Black girls is the best and they mom is too. Hey, Black child, do you know what you can do? Anything that you want, ain't nobody stopping you. Now look up, put your hands in the sky, reach high, you can fly the BBQ. Period, poo, BBQ. Period, poo, BBQ.
Look, Juan, this for my queens and kings. Go get your queen a ring and go to the BBQ, eat up the wings.
I truly personally believe that healing happens within the land. Before we started Appetite for Change, I had lost my son to community gun violence, and I didn't go back to my garden. And staring at the sun in the sky, the sun told me to go back to the garden, and that's where I would do my healing. So I 100% believe that to get into the land, there's so much blood that has been spilled on this soil and soil everywhere that maybe we need to just get in tune with Mother Earth and touch her soil so that we can heal.